What's up YouTube, it's Aditya S, and today we're going to be having a look at overclocking your GPU or graphics card. So you're probably wondering, why on earth would I want to overclock my graphics card? Like, what's the point? Well, the point of overclocking any instrument in your computer is to basically have that instrument or core processor or GPU, which is what we're doing right now, to run faster and better than what it was intended to. Unfortunately though, this puts stress on the GPU or whatever you're trying to overclock. But likewise, we can take safety precautions and overclock whatever you're overclocking, or in this case a GPU, slowly yet steadily, so that you don't cause any damage to the GPU, but you can still get the most out of that graphics card, even more than it was intended to do. So let's get started. So some of the things you're gonna need are MSI Afterburner, and this lets you overclock Intel, AMD, or MSI GPUs. So you also might want either Valley Benchmark 1.0 running in the background. I'm not gonna do that because I'm recording and that might cause a lot of stress on my computer. But you can also have something called NovaBench, which is just a benchmark tool. And in NovaBench, what we're gonna be using is an individual test called the GPU test. Really similar to Valley Benchmark, just taking benchmarks of your GPU. Okay, so let's get started. So basically, let's go ahead and open up MSI Afterburner. Let's just say yes to that. And what we get is this menu. So basically what we're going to be doing, actually this is already overclocked, I'm just going to bring that back down. Yeah. So basically what we're going to be doing is increasing these bars slowly yet steadily, so that you can ensure safe overclocking for your GPU. So as you can see here, we have the power limit, the temperature limit, which is really important, the core clock, which is basically how you make your GPU better and how you allow it to be better, and also your memory clock, which goes in with the core clock. You also have the fan speed, which is also something you should take a lot of care about, because you need to cool that GPU down. See, right now you can see that it's at 48 degrees Celsius, and that's really hot, but you want to keep it really cool. You don't want it to go more than, let's say, 60 to 70, and at full out max 80. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is just increase each of these bars really less. So let's go ahead and bring the power limit to 103. The temperature limit is dragged along with it, so we're going to bring the temperature limit to 85. The core clock is basically making the GPU better, so we're going to bring that to 31. The memory, we can bring that to 9. And the fan speed, we can just keep that at 80. So we can always keep that GPU cool. So let's apply these settings. And you're probably going to hear some buzzing because your fan speed is increased. So you're going to hear fan buzzing noise from your computer. See, I can hear it now. But I'm not sure if you can though, because my speaker's a bit far away from my PC. So anyways, now that we've done that, we have to make sure that this is safe. This is a safe GPU overclocking level for whatever your GPU is. By the way, mine is the NVIDIA GTX 1060. So to do this, we're gonna do a test, an individual test. We're gonna go ahead and do a GPU test, and as you can see right over here, here it is. So what's gonna happen here is we're gonna rate your GPU based on how much FPS you can get while doing this NovaBench 3D test. Or if you want, you can do the Valley Benchmark 3D test as well. So as you can see, we've maxed out around 150-ish, 155, and it's around 135 frames per second. As you can see right over here, the GPU score is 881. So we've increased our GPU, the load on it, by a little bit, but I already have done a few tests, and the max I have saved in this profile over here. So the max for the NVIDIA GTX 1060, well, the one I have, is the power limit at 112, temperature at 85, the core clock at 190, and the memory clock at plus 25, and the fan speed, of course, is at 80. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply these settings. Apply. And there we go. So I'm just going to show you that this is a safe level. So we're gonna go ahead and do the individual test. And as you can see, unlike before, we're starting around 130 FPS instead of starting around as low 120. So 130, we're at 140 now, 142. And there we go. This is what I wanted to show you. As you can see, this has like crashed. The application, it's crashed. It's not working. Now the reason for this is because the actual the reason for this is because we've actually pushed our GPU way too far. If you push your GPU way too far, this Nova bench test or the Valley benchmark test, it's gonna just collapse under the load. If it's like really severe, then you're gonna have it's gonna say that .exe file has stopped responding. In this case, it just froze and then continued along. So if that ever happens to you while you're slowly increasing all these bars, what you can do is just decrease the bars until a point where that doesn't happen, and then that's basically your max. So that's basically it. That's how you overclock your GPU. And one thing you need to be wary of is you don't want to like bring, let's say, your core clock all the way to 1000, because if you do that, you're like taking a bunch of leaps and you're gonna fry your GPU, like legit fry it, and you do not want to do that. So you wanna like slowly increase these values, and through that you can ensure safe passage to your most overclocked GPU your computer can handle. So we're just gonna go over these profiles as well. So let's say I am satisfied with these values. I'm just gonna change this a bit. Let's say I'm satisfied with these values, and I want to save this, but I don't want to like drag these bars every time I turn on my computer. What I can do is I can save these, click this button, and then what you can do is click the save button and replace any of these profiles with these settings. So now let's say I do profile 5, it's gonna have these settings. If I do profile 4, it's gonna have some other settings. Profile 5 again, just do that for now. And if you want, you can have these settings applied at startup by clicking this button, but I do not want to do that, because let's say I accidentally set these values too high and it works for a certain period of time, but then when I go to restart my computer the next day, it just won't turn on. My computer just keeps crashing. I can't stop that, and that's something you don't want to happen to your computer. So that's why I recommend doing these profiles, and whenever you turn on your computer, you just want to like click this profile, let's say click, and you're done. Get rid of MSI Afterburner. If you want, you can test it with Nova Bench, and you're done. You can play any video games, do any graphics intensive tasks, like maybe 3D scaling or something like that. So that's about it. That's how you overclock a GPU. And one thing you just need to be wary of as well is the temperature. You do not want this, as I said before, to go more than 60. That's like a max for me. But the ultimate max for me is 70. If it goes more than 70, I'm reverting all my settings and bringing it back. So I hope you liked this video, and if this was useful to you, don't forget to hit that like button, and please subscribe to my channel Aditya S, and thanks for watching.